Hello and welcome to my channel Happy Hours. In the last video I discussed about the carbon credit, greenwashing and circular and linear economy. Today I am going to discuss about the base effect, gross value added and the potential GDP. So let us proceed with the first topic, which is the base effect. The base effect refers to the effect that the choice of a basis comparison or reference can have on the result of the comparison between the data points. Using a different reference or base for comparison can lead to a large variation in ratio or percentage comparisons between the data points. In this, we are going to learn about the human development indicators also. The human development indicator value is 0.644. In the previous year it was 0.63. We can understand that we are proceeding in the human development. When the value is more closer to 1, then the human development is getting higher. GDP is not the only thing which will show that happiness is also there. Means there should be a human development also. Now we should know what is the rank. Our rank is 134. The value is increasing but our rank is decreasing. We can understand that our value from the last year has increased, but our rank from 132 is decreased to 134, because the other countries are performing better than us. That's why our rank is decreasing. Now what is our category? Our category is medium human development, and the life expectancy at the birth is 67.7 years. Minimum means the average people who are having the age of death is like 67 point something. Means most of us are living up to 67 to 68 years of age. The expected year of schooling is 12.6 years and mean year of schooling is 6.6 years. The real per capita GNI is $6,951. The Gender Development Index, which is equal to Human Development Index for females divided by Human Development Index for males, is equal to 0.582 divided by 0.684 is equal to 0.852. When this value 0.852 is reaching the goal of 1, then we are having the best. Means the development for both females and males are the same. It is less than 1 means the gender inequality exists in human development in India. Now what is the important fact? We can have to understand that what is the World Bank classification. We are the lower middle income country, and they have divided in 3 parts. All the country, the World Bank divided whole world in 3 parts. First is the lower, then is the middle, and the third one is the higher. The lower is the per capita GNI is less or equal to $1,135. In the middle they have divided 2 parts. First is the lower middle, which is 1,136 to $4,465, the income for a year, and the upper is the 4,466 to 13,845. Next we are having the higher, in which the countries who are having more than 13,846 or more, they are coming in this category. Now our value is 2,380. We are in the lower middle category. Now we should know there are new methods for national income and product. It was implemented in the year 2015 and based on system of national account 2008. Measurement of the growth rate. It is the measurement of the growth rate. Before 2015, real GDP fact cost was an indicator for the measurement of the growth. Now the next factor is formula for the calculation of GDP, which is sigma of all GVA, where GVA is gross value added plus net taxes on the products. Now we should know what is the GVA. GVA, as per SNA, GVA is defined as the value of output minus the value of intermediate consumption and is measure of the contribution to growth made by an individual producer, industry or sector. It provides the rupee value for the number of goods and services produced in an economy after deducting the cost of inputs and the raw materials that have gone in the production of the goods and services. So we can say that GVA at basic price equals to GVA at market price minus production taxes plus production subsidies. GVA at factor cost equals to GVA at market price minus production taxes minus product taxes plus product subsidies plus production subsidies. Now we should know the next factor, next important topic, which is the potential GDP. Potential GDP is the level of GDP which can be produced by optimum use of all economic resources of an economy. The actual GDP may be higher, lower, or equal to the potential GDP. Next topic is output gap, which is actual GDP minus the potential GDP. Thus, the output gap may be positive, negative, or zero. Negative GDP gap is due to COVID many countries went through, whereas most of the time we are having nearly positive GDP. Long-term trend line is the trend line which is the potential GDP, what the country is behaving throughout in the next last 4-10 years. There should be a perfect competition. Perfect competition means one of the item is in the homogeneous products, which is impossible. We are always thinking that there will be a perfect competition, but this is impossible. Next, we are having an important point, that is all participants, producers, buyers, they are having the complete knowledge about the market condition, which is also not possible. Due to ignorance, producers are using monopoly power. We can understand that when there is a market, people are not having the complete knowledge of the market many a times, and even they don't know about the old market also. Even sometimes the market which is closer to us, they are playing as a monopoly. Next, we should know there is a very important question to us, that is potential GDP, its the determinants and its constraint factors. Now we all know what is GDP, and now we should know how we are going to determine it. The first is by the labor force. The size and the quality of the labor force is one of the most important determinants of the potential GDP. A growing and well educated labor force can increase the economy's potential for growth and productivity, while a declining labor force can limit the economy's potential for the growth. Next, we are having capital stock. The amount of physical capital, such as buildings, machines, and equipment, in any economy affects the economy's potential for growth. The accumulation of capital can increase the potential for productivity and output, while a lack of investment in capital can limit the economy's potential for growth. Next, we are having technological progress. The technological advancement can increase the potential for growth and productivity by improving the efficiency of production processes, increasing the quality of the goods and services, and reducing the cost of the production. Next, we are having the natural resources. The availability of natural resources such as land, minerals, and energy can impact the economy's potential for growth. If these resources are abundant and easily accessible, the economy's potential for growth can increase, while lack of these resources can limit the potential for growth. Next, the economic structure. The composition of an economy's industries and the distribution of economic activity can impact the economy's potential for growth. For example, if an economy has a strong manufacturing sector, then it will have the higher potential GDP. Next is policy environment. The government policies such as tax and regulatory policies can also impact the economy's potential for growth. Policies that support investments, land innovation can increase the potential for growth, while policies that stifle investment and innovation can limit the potential for growth. And the last part of this is demographic factors. Demographic factors such as population growth, aging, and migration can also impact the economy's potential for growth. For example, a rapidly aging population can limit the potential for growth by reducing the size of the labor force, while a growing and youthful population can increase the potential for growth. Now we should understand the next part of it is the constraint factors. There are several factors that have constrained India in achieving its potential gross domestic product growth. Out of it, the first is the infrastructure. India faces significant infrastructure challenges, including inadequate transportation system, energy shortages, and limited access to the modern communication and technology. These constraints limit the country's ability to attract investment, increase productivity, and stimulate economic growth. Next is the regulatory environment. India's complex bureaucratic regulatory environment has been a major constraint to the country's economic growth. This includes regulations that limit the foreign investment, slow the process of starting a business, and restrict the flow of goods and services across the border. Next point is agricultural productivity. Despite being one of the world's largest agricultural producers, India Indian agricultural sector is characterized by low productivity, outdated technology, and poor infrastructure. This has limited the sector's potential to contribute to economic growth and has resulted in the persistent food security challenges. Next is the education and skill development. The quality and relevance of education and skill development programs in India have not kept pace with the changing needs of the workforce. This has led to the shortage of skilled workers and a mismatch between the skills of the workforce and the needs of the economy. Next, and the most important factor is the political stability. The political stability is a key factor in attracting the investment and promoting economic growth. India has political instability which led to slow growth. Corruption. Corruption remains a persistent challenge in India, affecting the delivery of public services, the business environment, and the economic growth. The corruption has a direct impact on the economy by reducing investment, slowing down economic activity, and distorting market competition. At the conclusion, we can say that potential GDP is determined by the quantity and quality of available resources, technological progress, and the efficiency of the production processes. Understanding potential GDP is essential for public markets as it provides the benchmark for determining the economy's growth potential and determining appropriate monetary and fiscal policies to promote sustainable economic growth. Accurately estimating potential GDP is challenging, and different methods may yield different results. However, it is widely recognized as a valuable tool for understanding the underlying trends and dynamics of an economy and making informed decisions that can positively impact the overall well being of a society. Now, there is one important fact which is we should know, that is a fragile five. Now, what is a fragile five? The term coined by Morgan Stanley in the year 2013 for a group of five economies whose macroeconomic fundamentals were supposed to be quite weaker. These are as follows: Brazil, India, Indonesia, Turkey, and the South Africa. But we can understand that we have grown from this to a very different stage. Now we are having a very strong GDP. With this, I am concluding my video for today. Thank you.